Hello viewers, in this video I will explain the construction of a three-phase induction motor. So we know that the three-phase induction motor is very essential in general all applications. So in our agriculture purpose this three-phase induction motor is used. So mostly under rugged construction and it's very strong a machine is a three-phase induction motor. Uh, so I will In this video, I will cover the constructional details of a three-phase induction motor. So I will explain the peripheral parts of the three-phase induction motor. In that first oral, will provide the uh, information regarding to the machine. So I will take another one so that you can understand easily. This I will explain the main parts. So this is the shaft, which is where the rotating part is available, where this is mechanically coupled to the pump of agriculture pumps, and these are the terminal box, which is where the three phases RYB three phases are given to the three phase induction motor, this three phase terminal box. And this is the fan cover inside. Fan will be there. So if you take any machine, that will be heated due to the losses. So if the heat that if that heat or temperature increases gradually, so there is a damage of insulation or short circuit of a machine will take place. So to avoid that such a problems, fan is used for cooling purpose. Fan is used for the cooling purpose. And also due to the mechanical damage, if you want to shift the machine from one place to another place, or due to the any mechanical stresses over that machine, so to avoid the damage due to the mechanical pressure due to the transportation, we should use a frame. This is a strong frame. And also you can see this are just like a laminations, just like a slots, the gaps will be there. This is used to provide the cooling, so natural air can flow easily, so that this due to the excess temperature, this cannot be heated because natural air flows through these gaps, so that will be ventilated through the ventilator for the airs. And the next one is, this is the base. So base should be strong, because the machine should run with the vibrations due to the load changes. So due to the vibrations, the machine can move one place to one place. So that to avoid such a movement or vibrations, we should use the base. And the base is having some holes, and by using these holes we can fit the rivets and nuts, so that it cannot move and it cannot vibrate uh, with this base. And also this is front cover. The front cover is used to protect from um, air or water into the machine. So these are the overall parts which we can see outside. So these parts we can see from outside only. So inside, what are the inside parts? So inside parts, what are the parts will be available? I will explain clearly. Stator. So you can see outside frame this is, but inside what will be there? Stator. This is the stator. Actual stator will be like this. And so this stator, I will explain the construction of stator in clear. So but you can see the inside view only with the frame, outside frame, and stator. This is the stator, which is laminated, and also slots will be there. Slots are provided to place the winding. So you can see this is the frame. This is the outside frame. This is the terminal box. Terminal box. So inside we can place a, uh, stator. Stator. This frame. This frame is used for the support of stator. And the material used for the frame is solid steel, or for small for based on the machines these materials vary. Solid steel or cast iron. So most of the machines are designed with cast iron machines. For special purpose materials, solid steel is used, and for many for general purpose machines, cast iron is used to make this frame. Next, let us see the stator. See, this is stator core. We can call it as this is as a stator core. So, which is laminated. So, the material used for this stator core is silicon. Silicon steel is used. So look at this slots. So you can see these are the slots. So if I observe the slots, so let us zoom in that one. So if you zoom that one, you can see that picture clearly. So I will draw that slot exact what is the structure. So look at this one. Slot is, so look at this one. This is the structure. So look at this one. These are the gaps. You can see the gaps. You can see the gaps. You can see the gaps like this. These gaps are provided to place the winding inside the slots. Inside the slots we should place the winding, so that these are the this is the gap. With this gap we can place the winding. So we can place the winding like this. We can place the winding into the slots. So let us zoom down that one, so you can see. So this is, but these the slots will be like this. Sorry, the slots are appearing like this. So this is the slot. This type of slot is called semi semi open type slots. So in the induction motor, semi open type slots are used. So let me give the classification. I will show the difference. Different types of slots will be there. First one is open slots. Second one is semi open and another one is closed slots. So these are the three types of slots are available. So these slots, open type slots are not preferable in induction motor, because open slots will be like this. You can place the winding easily in these open slots, but here this is the, if you take closed slots, semi open slots, that will be like this. You can see this one. These are the semi open. Approximately this is also same. So we can place the winding into these slots, but it's somewhat difficult when here more space is available, here less space is available to place the winding. So placement of winding is easy in open type slots, and in the semi open type slots placement is somewhat difficult. If you take closed type slots will be like this. That will be closed. So if it is closed, how to place the winding? So look at this one. This is the gap is available. If you close this gap, what is the way to place the winding? Because only one way, because this is the only hole is available. You should send the hole in. We should send the winding into the hole, just like a refill. how you are sending the refill into the pin, in the same way you should send the winding into the slots if it is closed. So the placement of winding is here easy. Placement of winding is easy, and this is just somewhat of difficult. So compared to this one, this is somewhat tough, but here very tough, very tough task to place the winding here. Here easy, here moderate, moderate. This is a major difference between the these slots. But I will show the another difference. So look at this one. If you use open type slots, if you use open type slots, look at this one. This is the open type slots, and the stator is available here. So look at this one. Listen this point carefully, and if you take this is the semi open, that will be like this, and this is a rotor. If you take closed, the rotor will be like this. Okay, now here the stator flux can link with the rotor, more flux will link with the rotor. But look at this one, this is the air gap. So look at this one, rotor to stator, this much of air gap is available. So I will take another pen, you can see easily. So this much of gap, this much of gap is available between a rotor and stator. So we know that one basic thing, if the air gap between the any two contacts of conducting material increases, then current drawn from the source will be increases to produce the required flux in the air gap. So in the transformer, laminations are provided, air gap is very less, so that excitation current drawn is 2 to 3% or maximum 5% I naught will drawn from the supply to produce the required flux in the transformer core. But in this uh, induction motor, we should consider the excitation current, because stator and rotor must be stator must be uh, stator and rotor must be differ by some gap, then only a rotor will rotate inside the stator. Gap is available, so definitely we should provide the gap, then only the rotor will rotates. So so why I am explaining that one is because in the three phase induction motor, air gap is necessary. Air gap is necessary. If air gap increases, if air gap increases, then no load current. So no load current I naught of induction motor increases. If air gap increases, no load current to produce the required flux in the air gap is increases. So that we should put that one in our condition. So we should reduce that such a no load currents. So if it is open type slots, if it is open type slots, air gap, if you can see that air gap between rotor to stator slots will be more. Here air gap is more, so that no load current I not drawn, no load current drawn is more. And if you take this is closed slots, so air gap is very less, so that I naught is less, very less. No load current drawn from the source is very less in closed type slots. If you take semi open types, this is in between. If you take semi open type slots, the I naught will be in between open and closes. For example, this is 5 amps, this must be less 2 amps, so that in open type slots no load current must be between 5 and 2. Let us take 2.5 2.5 amps. So if you use semi open type slots, these are the advantages. So no load current will be moderate. So next major difference between these two I will explain. Next difference is power factor, cos phi. Cos pi. So power factor, if you take power factor is the only the nature of reactive and active and reactive power. So look at this one here, air gap is in the open type slot, air gap is more, so that power factor will be less. This is phi open, let us take this is phi naught semi open, this is cos phi naught closed. So in the closed type power factor will be more and compared to the semi open when compared to the open, because if the no load current air gap increases, a no load current drawn from the source will be increases. So if the no load current drawn from the source increases is nothing but that is nothing but a reactive power. If the reactive power increases, reactive power drawn increases, then power factor decreases. In the open type slots power factor decreases, and in closed types of power factor will be more. In the semi open type power factor will be in between open and closed. And another major difference is fourth one is, if you use look at this one, this is the open type slots, or this is semi open, this is closed. So look at this one here, the conductors are provided. So I will draw another one. This is open type slots, so conductors are provided between the slots. So from conductors to rotor, flux linkages will be more. Flux linkage more in open type slots, because there is a free way, there is a way to link the flux in the open type slots, so that leakage flux less. So shall I wrap this one? Simply we can say that leakage flux less, because linking flux more, because there is a easy way, direct path is available, so that flux can link from stator conductors to rotor, so flux linkages increases. And here you can look at this one here, conductors are available, but there is a disturbance because this is closed, that's why the stator conductor flux cannot link. Some flux will link, but most of the flux will be leakages. So here flux leakage more, here flux leakage in between, greater than this one, sorry, less than this one and greater than this one. So these are the major four differences between open type and semi open and closed type slots. So first difference is uh, air gap is more between rotor and stator slots in open type slots, and less in closed type slots. So that next difference is excitational current drawn from the open type slots will be more when compared to the closed type slots. And another one is power factor. Power factor, you can also remember this one, cos phi is equal to r by under root of r square plus x square. If the leakage, if the excitation current increases, x increases. If the x increases, power factor will be decreases. So that in open type slots air gap is more, so that power factor will be less. If the here air gap less, so that power factor will be more. But and another fourth one is, so third one is leakage flux. Leakage flux in the open type slots are less, and leakage flux in closed types are more, because it is closed, so that stator conductor flux cannot link, most of the flux cannot link with the rotor. In semi open types moderate. So and the linking flux will be more in open types, less in closed types. So these are the major differences. These are the major differences between open and closed and semi-open. If you observe these three types of slots, if you observe middle one, nothing but semi-open types. If you use a semi-open type, so advantages will be there, disadvantages will be there. If you take leakage flux are less compared to closed and more compared to open type slots. Like that, all advantages and disadvantages will be available in semi open. But in if you take open type slots, there will be advantages and there will be disadvantages, but disadvantages will be dominates. So to avoid such a difficulties, all induction motors are preferred to semi open type slots. But where we should use open type slot, this is used in DC generators. So I will tell you later while discussing such a DC motors. And stator slots. If you take a stator's slots, so that will be like this. Just like if you take a textbook, papers will be available. 1, 2, 3 pages will be available. If you collect all the papers together, that will become a solid book. In the same way, these this stator also cumulative sum of laminations, just like a papers. If you add these laminations, all the lamination together, then there will become a stator. So why the laminations are provided? Laminations are provided. So major case is a major problem of placing laminations. So major advantage is it will reduces eddy current losses. Eddy current losses takes place in the stator. uh, to minimize those losses, laminations will be provided. Between the laminations to lamination, insulation will be provided in terms of varnish, paper. So most of the machines are made with lam laminations are differ by and separated by some insulation material, that is nothing but a varnish. So these laminations, why eddy current will losses will be takes place in the laminations? Because in the slots of stator of three-phase induction motor, winding will be provided. When current passes through the winding, when current passes through the three-phase winding, then what will happen? If the current passes through the three-phase winding, flux will be established. Rotating magnetic field, rotating magnetic field circulate inside the conductors in the air gap. So those rotating flux will link with the stator, so that while linking the flux, some induced EMF will experience in the stator. So due to that, because this is a conducting material, if flux cuts the stationary conductors according to the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, what will happen? EMF will be induced inside the stator core, and due to that induced EMF, some current will circulate inside the slots. So if you use solid material, all the currents will be added and more current will appear in the stator, so that more. So if you use solid material as a stator, more will be the eddy current losses, because that is a solid material, because rotating magnetic field flux the stator, more EMF will be induces, because that is a solid material, more EMF will be induces in the solid material of the stator, and current circulation will be more, so that more temperature will takes place in the stator, so that will leads to damage or burning of the stator. So to avoid such a problem, so laminations are used. So lamination specialty is, for example, this is one lamination, this is another laminations. Whatever the flux is linking with these laminations, and produces EMF inside the lamination, and current circulate inside this conductor, inside these laminations. so that whatever the current flowing in this lamination cannot link with side by the another laminations, so that current cumulative current cannot be added. For example, this is I1, this is I2, so I1 separate and I2 separate, I1 I2 will not be added, so that less amount of heat will be generated by providing the laminations. That is the advantage with the laminations. Next one is, so after placing the laminations together, so the complete stator will be like this. So we can place the winding inside the slots will be like this. We can place the winding like this. Because this is a semi open type slots. We can insert the slots in this way. We can insert the winding in the slots will be like this. So that will appear in this way. Next one is rotor. Rotor is two types of rotors are in the three-phase induction motor. First one is, this is a squirrel cage rotor, and another one is phase wound rotor or slip ring rotor. Other name is slip ring. So this is squirrel cage rotor or round, and this is the phase wound rotor or slip ring rotor, because slip rings are available. The why it is named as slip ring, because slip ring one, two, three slip rings, three slip rings. Three slip rings are available in the slip ring rotor, and it is also called phase wound rotor. Phase wound rotor, because for three slip rings, three windings will be available, so that the wound winding will be available in the inside the slots of three phase squirrel cage slip ring induction motor or phase wound induction motor. Three phase winding will be available, so that winding is connected, three phase winding is connected to the slip rings, so that this name of this rotor is slip ring rotor or wire wire wound wire wound or phase wound rotor, because the phases will be available, three phases winding will be available. That's why this is called phase wound or slip ring rotor. Why this winding is available, why we should place the winding? Because to control the torque, to control the torque or to improve the torque, we should use this slip ring phase wound induction motor. And this is squirrel cage rotor. So if you use this squirrel cage rotor in the induction motor, that becomes squirrel cage squirrel cage. If you use this rotor in induction motor, that becomes squirrel cage induction motor. If you use this rotor slip ring slip ring rotor in induction motor, that becomes slip ring induction motor. This is the These are the two types of induction motors are available based on the rotor. But between these two rotors, difference will be there, but stator construction for both will be same. Next, this is used for high speed high speed applications. So this is used for low speed applications, and also the specialty of this one is used for high speeds, and this is used for high starting torque applications, and I will explain later why it is used for starting torque improvement. I will explain separately, and I will compare both separately. So this is a rotor of squirrel gauge, also laminated, and phase wound also will be laminated. So but the difference is, here slots will be available in the wire wound rotor or phase wound rotor. Slots will be available to place winding. That is the difference between these two. That is the difference between those two. Here slots will be available, here no slots will be available. But you can see this is slot, but this is not a slot. This is used to place the copper bars. So I will explain why copper bars are used in the next figure. So these are the laminations. Laminations are used. I already explained why the laminations are used. So again I'm going to explain again. This is the stator winding is available, three-phase winding is available, RYB three-phase winding is connected to the stator. If three-phase supply is given to the stator, a rotating magnetic field will flow in the air gap between the stator and the rotor, and the rotating magnetic field will link with the rotor, so rotor core. So in the same way, if the rotor core experienced flux, then an EMF induces inside the rotor. So in the same way, if the laminations are not provided, more temperature will be induces. Otherwise, if you place the laminations like this, so the current which is available in this laminations, which is restricted to this lamination only. If the current is available due to the flux linkages, this current is restricted to this lamination. This current cannot flow from this lamination to this lamination and this lamination to this lamination. So that's why laminations are used to reduce the eddy current losses. Look at this one. These are the copper bars. This one are the copper bars. Why copper bars are used? So if you observe this figure, so in between in these gaps, copper bars are used. Copper bars are used to support the laminations or core or laminations. So here in these gaps, winding is used. So this is the winding. This is the three-phase winding which is used and which is connected to the slip rings. This winding is connected to the slip rings. This setup will be inserted in the rotor core. This total is inserted in the rotor core. And this is also, these copper bars are placed in the rotor slots. And look at this one. These are the end rings. This is one ring and another one ring. These are called end rings. End rings is used to support the copper bars. End rings are used to support the copper bars. So this setup is used to make the rotor of squirrel cage induction motor become rugged and strong. So to make that machine strong and rugged, so this setup will be used. So after inserting copper bars and end rings in the rotor, so squirrel cage rotor, if you insert the copper bars and a end ring setup inside the rotor of squirrel cage induction motors. Look at this one. This is the end ring, and the outer side also end ring will be there, and these laminations will be supported by the copper bars. These are the copper bars, so that this becomes a squirrel cage rotor. So if you insert this three-phase winding in the slots of a wire wound or phase wound rotor, that becomes the setup becomes like this. This is the complete construction of squirrel cage rotor and phase wound rotor. So look at this one here. So I want to say one thing and I forgot one important point. These laminations, look at this one. These copper bars are not parallel each other. So for example, if you take this rotor, these copper bars cannot be placed like this. That is not placed like a straight manner, because these are placed like these copper bars are skewed with certain angles. Skewed is nothing but if the copper bars will be straight parallel to each other, becomes like this. If skewed is nothing but twisted some certain angle or skewed with certain angle. The copper bars are skewed with certain angles because the skew will be like this. So Here I am going to express that one. If it is rotor, the copper bars are skewed in this certain angle. Copper bars are skewed with certain angle. You can observe here. So this is skewed with a certain angle like this. Why it is skewed? Because to make a rotation of rotor smooth. Because and also I want to say one thing. If it is like this, if it is parallel to each other, then flux cannot link parallelly, because here copper bars is available, here gap is there, slot is there, lamination slots will be available, here copper bar will be available. So that if flux linkage is changing, so I will draw another one so that you can understand easily. So if let us take, this is a rotor, it is rotor. If copper bars are parallel with straight manner, this is one way, and another way is if the copper bars are skewed. Skewed means certain angle. Like this is skewed. This is skewed. So stator flux links, if this rotor rotates, then what will happen? Stator flux links parallelly like this in this way. So I will take another pen. So stator flux links in this gap first of all, and then link with the copper bar. So there is a difference between rotor copper bars and slots, because rotor copper bar is a solid material. If the flux link with the solid material, the movement will be fast. If the flux will link with the slot area, nothing but this one. If the flux link with this area, the movement of the rotor will be become slower. If the flux link with this area, the movement will be fast, rotor movement will be fast. So that if it is parallel, if it is parallel to each other, what will happen? The flux link here and then here, link here, slot area, and also this area, so laminated area, and then one by one the flux linkages in a sequence manner, flux will link in a sequence manner, so that in that process, if the flux link with the copper bars, the it will move fastly, the torque will be fast, and torque will be more. If the flux link with the laminated rotor core, the flux, the movement, torque movement will be less, so that fast less, so that because of that one, some vibrations will be takes place. So the smooth running of the rotor will not occur if the copper bars are parallelly placed, nothing but like this, parallelly placed. Because if you place the copper bars if you place copper bars with a certain angle, what will be the problem, what will be the advantages? So look at this one. This is the end rings. The copper bars are skewed with certain angle, like this, skewed with certain angle, sorry, like this, skewed with a certain angle. So if you take flux will flow from simply horizontal in manner, like this, flux will link in this way. So look at this one, look at this one. So if the flux will be like this, so the flux in this area, slots are available, in this area copper bars available, again slots are available, copper bars available. So here, if you take this one, here this flux is linking with copper bar and slot, laminated area and copper bars like this. So if the slots are, that copper bars are skewed with certain angle, the flux linking with both copper bars, at the same way laminated core. So if the if the flux link with copper bars and laminated cores continuously, the torque movement will be similar and also smooth. So to avoid such a problems, these these copper bars are skewed certain angle. In the same way, here the slots of the wire wound also skewed with a certain angle. So why that certain angle is placed because for smooth operation where we should place the copper bars with certain angle. These are the major difference between and construction details of rotor of three phase induction motor. So after placement of the winding, the stator and rotor position will be like this. This becomes squirrel cage rotor, and this becomes wire wound rotor or slip ring induction motor. So you can see the slip rings. Slip rings are connected through some brushes and contacts. So we will explain here. These are the terminal box. Look at this one. These are the terminal box. This is the one end of the conductor. This is another end of the conductor. This is from the input side. This is from the internal connection of the terminal box of the stator winding. So here you can see the slip rings and brushes. So this is the slip ring. Slip rings are connected through the brushes. So 1, 2, 3 brushes will be available here, and the brushes are available, and this is some external clips which is used to place the brush. So we can call this is also brush holder. Brush holder. In this brush holder, springs will be available which are constantly presses the brushes towards the slip rings. So these slip rings are used to place the external resistance external resistance external resistance to increase starting torque. The formula for the starting torque directly proportional to E2 square R2 by SE2, directly proportional to general torque equation is nothing but SE2 square R2 by and root of R2 square plus X2 square. This is the torque equation, starting torque equation. So if the resistance increases, starting torque also increases. So this is the condition. If the resistance increases, starting torque increases. So the resistance, what is the resistance? R2 is nothing but rotor resistance. Rotor resistance is nothing but R2. So this rotor resistance increased by placing the external resistance. If you want to produce the high starting torque at starting of a three-phase induction motor, so in such a cases we should use external resistance. We can place another external resistance through these slip rings. So these slip rings we can place extra resistance like this setup will be available by placing this external resistance to these three slip rings. So a resistance will be added inside the rotor. So if the resistance increases, torque at the starting increases. So high starting applications, so these slip ring induction motor or wire wound induction motor is used. So high starting applications like lifts or traction, nothing but locomotive applications, wherever high starting torque is required, in such applications this slip ring induction motor is used. So in squirrel cage induction motor, if you take squirrel cage rotor, this is there is no external resistance. There is no external resistance. There is no possibility to place the external resistance, so that it can work at a constant speed, and it can pick up. It can work with a normal torque. It can start at a normal torque because it cannot use it for high starting torque applications, because there is no provision to place the external resistance inside the this three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. So that these squirrel cage induction motor is used for constant applications such as pumpings, water pumpings. So in our household we can see the household purpose for pumping the water from our sumps to tank, we should use the single phase induction motor. But in the same way, in the agriculture purpose also we should use some other motor. So in this, which is similar to our household motor. In household we have only small size pipes, so that we should use a single phase induction motor. For large size machines, large size water pipes, So we should use another motor such as that is nothing but three-phase induction motor, that is also used for pumping applications, water pumping applications. So if you use a three-phase squirrel cage and induction motor for water pumping, it will send the water send water to field with a constant speed. That is the requirement we have in the agriculture purpose, so that squirrel cage induction motor is used. These are the major differences and construction details of a three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. And so this is you can see the setup of placing the external resistance in the wire wound rotor. So this is the external resistance we can place, and this is the variac. By varying the resistance of by varying the external resistance, we can control the torque of wire wound induction motor. So these are the major differences and construction details of three-phase induction motor. So if you want to observe this construction practically, you can go the where the person who is repairing the machines in our near to your cities, towns, so you can observe the construction details easily with practically. Thank you for watching.